This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Familiar turf for a drug trafficker. 50-year-old Dwight Major was one of two men brought to court in connection with that big drug bust here in the capital early Wednesday morning. As reported, drug enforcement officers were in the area of Tonic Williams Starling Highway and Blue Hill Road just before 4 a.m. Wednesday when they stopped and searched a Nissan March and found 283 pounds of marijuana with a street value of $283,000. Two men were arrested as a result, charged with 1 count each of possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply and conspiracy to possess with the intent to supply were Major and 47-year-old Pine Barren Road resident Romel Roll. The two pleaded not guilty to both counts. Ian Cargill and Nathan Smith represented Major and Roll respectively. The two accused returned to court July 11th. Major has served time both here at home and the United States. Just last summer, he was sentenced to 9 months for an illegal gun and ammunition. The entrance to Parliament draped in black as the mortal remains of former Senator and Cabinet Minister Theresa Moxie Ingram lie in state in the foyer of the House of Assembly ahead of her official funeral on Friday. Leading off those signing the Book of Condolences, viewing the body, and greeting mourning relatives was Governor General Dame Marguerite Pinling, followed by Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, Cabinet Ministers, and Senators. A meritorious council member, Mrs. Moxie Ingram, was yesterday remembered by her Free National Movement family during a lunchtime memorial at the party's Mackey Street headquarters. Former cabinet minister and longtime friend Janet Boswick reflected on the relationship the two shared, while the prime minister spoke of her character as a politician, one who refused to stand on the sideline of history.
In the early 1980s, Perry became very active in the academic business association. I was then its president. She was all I had ever heard of her and so much more. As an educator and as an entrepreneur, she had faith in her God and in herself. And she continued to fight for the betterment of our country with unwavering determination.
Dr. Minnis went on to draw a comparison between Mrs. Moxie Ingram and that of slain civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King II, who often spoke of being a drum major for the important things in life.
He preached like, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice.
Amen.
Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. I just want to leave a committed life behind. Our beloved and late sister, the Honorable Theresa Moxie Ingram Terry, was a drum major.
Educator, columnist, parliamentarian, cabinet minister, daughter, mother, and friend, Theresa Moxie Ingram died at her home on March 20th. She was 64. Her official funeral takes place at St. Agnes Anglican Church on Blue Hill Road at 11 a.m. A whole lot of money spent to import food into the country each year. $1 billion price tag governments have long been working to reduce. This equates to what Agriculture Minister Renwood Wells says is the Bahamas producing just 8% of what its residents consume, begging the need then for Bahamians to become more productive.
In becoming much more productive, I believe that we're definitely going to be able to increase our exports to the world. One of the areas I believe that we can do it immediately is in the marine environment, in fisheries, especially in identifying the pelagic species. We don't harvest tuna, we don't harvest wahoo, we don't harvest deep water groupers, we don't harvest red snappers. There's tons of deep water crabs that we are not exploiting as a people. There's lots of deep water conch that we're not exploring as a people. We typically as a people have been a shallow fishing community.
Hence the theme of this year's Agribusiness Expo, Together We Grow. As in previous years, the goal is to expose local farmers, processors, agribusiness people, craftsmen, artisans, and marine businessmen to the consuming public, while at the same time educate the population on the opportunities that exist in farming and fishing. There are, however, a few new features. For the first time, there will be a plant diagnostic clinic spearheaded by the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, where farmers can receive free diagnosis for their plants and recommended treatment. All samples should be brought in sealed Ziploc bags. This year's expo will also feature a live demonstration of meat fabrication. The expo's opening ceremony is scheduled for Friday, April 13th. Access is free. Our final story is up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.